That's the solution. I think it works.
Yep, no doubt.
I really do like the whole how good the cameras are doing and the lighting in this room and stuff. So we are live, everybody, and the first things first, welcome back and a toast to the new
Football
season.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Football's back, baby.
Salute.
Woo.
Love it. Don Julio.
So how's everybody feel about this season so far?
Better after our draft last night.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't started. Everybody better feel great, you know?
I feel pretty great after last night.
Yep. I'll be honest, I haven't taken a good look at your team yet. I kind of thought we were just going to take a look at all the teams together. Is that the plan?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll grade them, you know, just how we feel as we get to them and stuff like that. And relive some of the moments of how they came together. There's like a delay that's messed me up.
Yeah, you just got to get used to it again.
Check.
You used to say that about it last year, too.
Yeah, I probably did.
You just got to
get used to not, you know, not worrying about what I hear and just talk.
Yeah, it takes a minute or two, and then you're like, by the end of an hour, you're just, it's normal, you know?
I was telling Ray before he got here, I was really happy with myself and how I was able to wait and not just like jam on certain players. Like I really wanted to push you for A.J. Brown last night, and it didn't. And it helped because I was able to get like, 5 receivers that I really like. We'll get there.
I kind of went 0 wide receiver, which is a dangerous way to go, but I think
It's a
I
bold
have some
strategy, Cotton.
Yep, I think I've got a good team though. Man, that delay is really getting me. It's like, what's happening?
It slows you down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're trying to catch up to your voice. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute.
And you're trying to catch up by slowing down.
Yeah, exactly. I enjoyed doing the auction last night without, all the equipment and trying to worry about everything. And, I was able to concentrate more. But I definitely made at least 2 mistakes because I had a daughter or a wife come in and start talking to me at the wrong time. And by the time I looked down, I'm like, no!
Dude, there was like a guy that smashed into a parked car right outside my parents' house where I was drafting last night. I finished with work and I was still out of town. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll have dinner and I'll just chill and draft. Then I'll drive home. Mm-hmm. And this is when I got Waddle because I was trying to pay attention and I had to go check and see what happened because like it was a smash and then a car alarm going off and I'm like, oh shit, is that mine?
Pause draft.
No way, yeah, almost. And I get up, I go over there, I go, oh, it's not mine. It's just 2 cars that jammed into each other. All right, look down at the draft. Oh, I don't care about this guy, whoever it was that was up. And I was being real, judicious about making sure I was passing when I was like, I'm out on this guy. I'm not even playing around, not going to accidentally hit the bid button. Which I felt like Ray might have done last night when he was picking up Aaron Jones. I don't know about you, but for a minute I was like, yeah, Ray, go. Keep raising. No, stop pressing the button. Let Nico have him. But no, anyway, I almost missed Waddle because of that. And it's, of all things, it's crazy. Things that happen during the draft.
In that tier of running back, you know what I mean? I draft by tiers, and so, if I figure all these running backs are going for 20, then if I can get one for 15, I'm getting a bargain, right? Mm-hmm. So in that category, Aaron Jones went for 29. The next closest to him went for 15.
In the category.
Yeah. In that tier.
Who did you have above him?
Let's see.
Because based on that, you must have had people above him that went for less.
The tier above him was Henry, Walker, Mostert, Connor, Mixon.
Yeah, so Walker, I got Walker for 22.
Yeah, bargain. You got it late. You got him late in the draft, and that's why you got him so cheap. It's nice.
I also so it was crazy because people were overpaying for a bunch of guys early, based on the mock drafts that I did.
Oh, and names that I would not expect. It's live auctions are just so different.
I have to make sure that I mention this. There was a bidding war for Chase Brown that got all the way to 14?
Oh God, yeah.
15, something like that. I didn't see exactly what he went for. But
he's almost dead last on my sheet, and he went for 14.
And he went for 14. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, did something happen that I don't know about? Right. Because guys that were still on the board at the time were like Travis Etienne was still on the board. I had not paid for a Pacheco yet because I remember while I was laughing about it, I still had 0 players. I'm like, what's going on? Is my information wrong? You know, like what did I miss?
Did he get the starting job and I didn't know?
Yeah. So there's this bidding war for Chase Brown, and Nico picks up Zach Moss for like $3. Uh-huh. Oh my God. And so later in the draft there were all these bargains. I got Ramondre for like 12 when he was supposed to be like 25. So
I had him in the same category as Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Najee Harris.
20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you say it's 20, I got him for 12.
No, well, like I say, my ranks are different, but look at 12, 11, 15, 12, and then 29. But so it seems like to me,
right?
Yeah,
but
in
their projections, what they were supposed to go for, like Najee was 20, 22, something like that.
You're saying the sleeper
Singletary, who Nico got for 5, was supposed to go for like 18 or something.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, you're talking about the sleeper ones, right?
Yes.
The sleeper predictions?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that said McCaffrey should go for,
85? What that thing
like,
is,
what?
Right, 83. What it's based on is what people are paying in these drafts, what they're willing to pay, for...
So our league is just a little different, huh?
Well, it always is.
For sure.
But you never know exactly how, and every league is like that. It's not going to be just exactly like ADP, but... yeah, so a lot of interesting stuff like that happened in our draft, and we can talk about it as we go through the teams.
Yeah, good idea. So anybody want to volunteer to go first? Whose team should we critique?
We should definitely pick Brian's team first.
Okay, let's do it.
Let me see if I can figure out a way on the website to just pull up your team. Like I can go down to matchups.
Go to league.
All right, league.
And just click on their team.
Your team, Badman, right?
Yeah.
Badman's bunch.
And just click on him again.
Oh, there we go.
Weird. So weird. All right. Well, I can do it. If you won't.
I mean, yeah, I still want to be able to, the people who are watching on the stream can be able to see it. But this will work.
Never mind.
All right, so while you're doing that, I'll just kind of...
I don't think there is a way, but I mean, I have it. It's in a matchup, so...
Oh, okay.
But go for it.
Quarterback, I got Kyler Murray. Got him for 12. Got to be honest, I expected to get him for a little bit less, but not too bad. Gibbs, Rashad White, and Alvin Kamara were my 3 running backs. You notice they're all PPR guys, all guys that are going to be getting, all kinds of extra points with the receptions. So I'm very happy there. Got those guys for middling prices. AJ Brown was my big spend in the wide receiver category.
Well, you paid up for Gibbs. 45.
Well, like I say, in my projections, that was cheap, but cool. Let's see. AJ Brown, the big spend up. And then I had a whole bunch of like $2 and $3 wide receivers here. So I'm not sure who the starter is going to be. We're going to have to look and see how the season goes. But we've got Hopkins, JSN, and then we've got Curtis Samuel, Cortland Sutton. And then I've got Roman Wilson on there right now. We'll see how long he lasts, but just looking for upside. And let's see. Kicker, who cares? Steelers are going to be great this year on D. Kincaid at tight end. I spent up a little bit there, but 14 I thought was a pretty good deal. All the others I had in the same tier went for a lot more. And Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. I got that pair on the cheap, and we'll see what happens there in L.A. And Jalen Warren, and that's about it. Oh, and T.J. Hawkinson on the IR. So what do you guys think? Does it suck? Not too bad? Gonna win the league again?
Gus Edwards wasn't in L.A. last year, was he?
No, they were both in Baltimore.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
This delay is still getting me.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like you're going to drop like 4 of the 5 guys on your bench, and you just don't know who they are yet.
4, 5. I mean, I'd agree with 2.
Because you're definitely not going
Maybe
to keep
3?
both Dobbins and Edwards. It's going to be one or the other.
That was the idea. That's why I got them cheap.
Like, then you've got Curtis Samuel is a gamble.
For sure.
Like, it's a crazy gamble.
Could be good.
We don't know what's
dropping.
going to happen with Seattle and their offense.
Correct.
And so it just might not be time for JSN yet. And then Jalen Warren, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the distribution of work is going to be in Pittsburgh yet. So
I feel like it's going to be pretty close to what it was last year. I mean, I think we have added
different offense.
For sure. But
He wants to do different things. And they brought in, what's his face? Patterson. And
Right.
and he got work in the preseason to make sure he's ready. You know, Arthur Smith loves Patterson. So
I know.
yeah, so I was out on Steelers running backs when they brought Patterson in, and he didn't just like go to the practice squad. Like he got actual work and meaningful work. So I'm like, this is gonna be a mess.
Okay, that's fair. But again, I got them real cheap too.
You did.
So that's at the time of the draft where I'm
You
just
did.
kind of like,
It's
okay,
just that
what can I
you
fill
spent.
a hole?
Let's see. What is my math? Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. 110 on running backs. That's a lot.
Right.
And then you spent
Yeah, 2 on Warren.
55 on wide receivers, and typically you'd want that, flipped the other way.
Unless the wide receivers are
Well,
going
and
for way too
the
much,
reason-
which
the-
I thought they were.
It just depends. Like if you bought like Bijan and Brees together, and that was your 110, and then you had like 3 $1 guys, and then you only spent like 60 on wide receivers, but the 60 you spent was more like my guys, where it's like Nico, Jalen Waddle, and Rashee Rice, instead of having to gamble on Sutton and Hopkins,
right,
like you did.
But I also filled that flex with a every week starter that's going to be badass unless they get hurt.
I mean, we hope. He didn't score a lot of touchdowns. That's the thing.
Who are you saying? Right
Kamara.
Oh, yeah, but wasn't he? He was crazy up in the points per game after his suspension.
He was up there. But there were some ridiculous games where it was like 10 catches for 20 yards.
But he's just a PPR
I think he literally had
monster.
one game that was 13 catches for 39 yards. Or 33. It was 13 for 33.
That's 16 points.
It's really good. It's really, really good. But he also had some really down games. And if I remember correctly, he wasn't very good in the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs.
The fantasy playoffs.
Oh. I was like, what are you talking about? You're right. He sucked in the fantasy playoffs. But those were literally his worst 2 weeks of the year by a lot. Every other week was double digits.
That's money time.
Well, so you're going to blame him for timing going against two good defenses.
It happens to older guys.
Well, I'm very happy with it, but I respect your opinion.
No, if you hadn't paid for Rachaad White as well, and I would rather pay for Kamara than White, but I wouldn't want both. When you already have Gibbs is what I'm saying.
I got White on what I considered to be the cheap. Like the category he was in, he was on the top of my tier, and he went for 28, which was the cheapest of the tier by far. So, by 2 and 3, 2, 3, and then 14, 12. Anyway, so I thought he was a screaming deal along with Kamara, and so that's why I'm like, shit, 3 spots filled.
That's the part of your team that I don't like.
It's fair.
Is I would rather not have Rachaad White, and you could have had, let's see, what's a good one? You could have had Tony Pollard for 4.
No, thank you.
But rather than Rachaad White, you could have had James Conner for 17, and then you could have paired him with what's his face, Trey Benson for 2. So you could have got, and you would have guaranteed yourself the workload, because either the season starts out and they're giving some of the work already to Benson and you can see it coming, or Connor gets all the work. Great.
No, I agree.
Yeah. And then you would have had some cash to get yourself another receiver.
And that's
like you could have had. I got Ridley for 6. You could have. So you could have had Ridley.
That was the guy. My wife. You're welcome. I was bidding up on Ridley. I had at least $5 more to spend on him. He was going for double digits.
Yeah.
But my wife distracted me.
Oh,
awesome.
I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And that's my 5. That's my wide receiver 5.
Thanks, babe.
So. She watching?
Who else?
All right. So moving on.
Yeah, but no, I mean definitely a solid B+.
Okay.
Team.
And that's what my website gave it, and that's kind of how I feel about it. So thank you.
I'm just worried about your wide receiver depth.
Oh, I am too.
and that's the thing is like I lean towards wide receivers in the draft because they're harder to pick up on the waiver wire. Running backs are obvious. It's like, blew out his knee. We know who the next guy up is. Let's pull out the wallet, baby. Come on, let's go Fab Wednesdays. So other than that, yeah, I thought your draft was great.
Thank you, sir. And I agree.
And you had money in your pocket to pay for whoever you wanted from like probably the last 20 picks that mattered.
Right.
So
I wasn't getting the dregs. I was getting.
But I was surprised at the people that you drove up the price for. You got to like explain Deontay Johnson before we move on.
Last guy in my tier. You know what I mean? And at that point, I looked at my dollar amount, and looked at all the players.
And you were like,
"There's
whatever.
nobody to bid on."
Yeah.
So I need to, bid on somebody.
So he went for 13
Yeah.
when he was a $1 projection.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I think that's BS. I put him as a $5-6 player.
There's a number of guys that went for that range. Like I had to pay $7 for Adonai Mitchell.
Now I'm looking at some of the other names. You're right. He was a $3 or $4. Anyway.
Yeah, that was the other one that was like, what is going on here? And I was so happy when Nico won because that removed his ability to take Jonathan Brooks from me.
Oh, nice.
And so that was the guy that I cared about the most at the end. So when we got down to it and you had like 30 for a while before, who did you get? You spent it on Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. So before you spent money on Kyler Murray and Gus Edwards, I was like just waiting for you to spend your money or fill up your roster, and same thing with Nico, so I could get Brooks, and that's what I was saving my chips for when
nice.
I had like 13 max, a max bid of 13, and that's where it was going.
What do you go for?
2.
Okay, yeah, because he was not on my radar. To me, he's a $2 or $3 player in a redraft. Now, if we're talking dynasty, I'm much more interested.
Oh yeah,
but this year.
Second half to me.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you
but
have
I want
the ability to keep him on your bench that long?
I think he's going to start playing sooner than later. But I'm talking about like by this time we get to the second half, he's a must start. Gotcha. I think.
Right on. Who's next?
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
You do me next. Let's see here.
Do me.
All right. So quarterback Patrick Mahomes. My running backs are Christian McCaffrey, A. Jones. Wide receivers Diggs, Metcalf, K. Allen. My tight end was M. Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm. And wide receiver from Buffalo as my flex right now, Shaker. No. K. Shaker.
Huh? Oh, Khalil Shakir. I'm looking at your draft. Shakir. Your draft says Judy.
Okay. And my kicker, T. Bass. Defense was Baltimore. On the bench, Stafford, Tyreek Hill, M. Lloyd.
No, it's Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, whatever. M. Lloyd, T. Algier. I actually just wanted Taysom Hill for some reason. T. Algier, Adam Thielen, and I think Adam Thielen and Lloyd and Algier were all auto picks. I think at that point I checked out.
Gotcha.
So you had a good start with Mahomes, McCaffrey, Mark Andrews. That was real strong. And if you had just let Aaron Jones go to Nico for $28, you'd have been the hero of the draft.
Speaking of run-ups, I missed one on Cameron. Obvious one.
Means I was thinking the rate.
Huh? On Harrison?
Harrison?
Yeah. Every time I clicked it, he auto-clicked the raise, and I should have just kept bidding him up. He would have went up another $10.
Oh, I was thinking who's... Didn't he get a rate? Wasn't there a Raiders player he bid up on? No?
I don't remember.
He ended up with 0 Raiders. He bid me up on Devontae.
Oh, yeah. Devontae's this guy. Yeah.
No, he's not. He's my guy.
Well, actually. He is now.
That's what the board says. The board says he's my guy.
Fair.
My thoughts on your team. I like your team.
I do too.
I like your team. Like
I was ready to get picked apart. You guys are like,
no.
I mean, it definitely has flaws. It's not perfect.
It's just Aaron Jones.
Your strength is strong, dude. I mean, you look at those top 3, 4, 5 names. I mean, I'm just like, okay, that's a good lineup.
I wouldn't
Keenan
have
Allen
been in.
might be great, might not. It's hard to say. Andrews is great. You're weak with Shakir in that spot. I think.
I like
but
Shakir.
Maybe not.
Actually, I like Shakir more than Diggs this year.
Okay.
I think people
hot
are
take.
like really in on.
Can I bet on that?
No, I think people are really in on Dalton Kincaid and just assuming he's going to be the number 1 target. And I'm not even sure he's going to be the number 1 tight end in Buffalo.
Really?
Well, yeah, Dawson Knox is still there, and
sure.
him and Josh Allen are like best friends. And that matters. It matters. It just does. And Shakir will be the wide receiver 1,
Wow. Okay.
not Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's good, but he's also a rookie. Shakir's been in that system for a couple of years now. He took over from Diggs at the end of last year. He was awesome down the stretch.
He's going to be able to do well with the number 1 cornerback on him?
We're not sure that's going to happen because they've got that. They've got Keon Coleman on the other side. So I'm saying Shakir's the wide receiver 1. Like, is that what defensive coordinators are saying? Like, are they planning for Buffalo like he's the 1? And they might be after the first couple of weeks, and he blows people up. But I think he's going to be great. Okay. I really do. I would not have spent money on Diggs or Aaron Jones. Like, that's a combined $51. I would have rather had Amon-Ra St. Brown for $50 and then a $1 guy. Because you've got CMC at the running back, and he's almost like 2 running backs in 1, most weeks. Because what did he average last year? 23 points a game? Something like that?
Who's that?
CMC.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, and so when you draft a running back 1, you're like, if this guy averages 16 points a week, you know what? I'm going to have a great year. It's really how that goes. So to have your guy average 23, and he consistently does that when he's not injured, you can gamble a little bit. So that's it. That's it for me. I would say, this is a B.
I'm looking at the bench, and the bench is weak. Thielen, Algier, Lloyd, the guys that you said auto-drafted. Yeah, Judy might be something.
I remember one of you guys being really high on Judy last year, and so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pick that guy up.
It was not me.
I just over and over again on DraftKings. It was always going Judy, and so like it just stuck with me. And it might have been you.
Judy did have some touchdowns last year. No, that was Sutton.
Sutton.
Yeah, I put Sutton in my lineup. I don't remember.
No, it was you.
I don't know.
It had to be you.
Well, I was kicking butt last year in the lineup. So.
If I remember right, we kept betting against Sutton. We're like,
that could be it.
He won't do it again. He won't do it again. It's
okay, maybe. That sounds reasonable, I'd give you. I can't decide between B minus, C plus, but it's right there. And basically, it's the bench that's the problem. You're definitely going to have to keep an eye on the waiver wire.
Okay.
I agree with that.
That's fair. All right, let's do Ken next. Ken is team. Yeah, but what's your team name?
Oh, it's Waddle Hawks Tua.
Wait, no. I cannot find you.
I think it's at the top. Go up, roll up.
Oh, here you go. All right, so you have. Why don't you read them out?
Where am I? Okay, so I've got at quarterback. So that was the one area where I had to keep making different plans, was quarterback.
Okay.
Because I started with Richardson being my target, and based on how things went with receiver and what I had seen from mock drafts, when I missed out on receiver, all the guys that are like 40 and above in cost, I knew that I had some money to work with. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put Josh Allen up. And if he goes for 25, he's mine, was where my budget was. I could have fit him in. So the way that my team would have been different was I would not have had Rashee Rice. Would you trade Rashee Rice for Josh Allen?
No.
You'd rather have Rice?
No, I'd rather have.
That's
okay.
right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So that's where my team was. That's what I was thinking when I put Allen up. He ended up going for 34 for
way too much.
Well, yeah, but like I said, so that was my first plan at quarterback, was like put Josh Allen up. If he goes for 25 or less, I'm going to get him. After that, it was oh man, this one actually annoyed me a little bit. I'll have to talk to Omar about this. Anthony Richardson ended up going for 12.
Little high.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to pay 12 for him.
I was looking for him,
and he went to the guy who paid 22 for Lamar Jackson. So he's got Lamar and Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah. He spent 34 on the quarterback position. Sweet. But I was like, why? Why did you do that? Why?
The two of them together equal Josh Allen. I mean, maybe that's just 1 + 1. No?
And then the next plan was I was going to try and get Jaden Daniels for $1, and Cam put him up, and I was like, I'll pay $2. And then Cam bid to 3, and I was like, I'm out. And I think he can have like a Justin Fields rookie year, where if you remember the second half, Justin Fields was just awesome. Mm-hmm. It was all running, and like one of those things you would never like predict would happen again, because he had a number of like 50+ yard touchdown runs. So I wanted to try and do it. Anyway, ended up with Tua. And once Tua was always like my backup plan. Even if I got Kyler, or if I got Jaden Daniels or Anthony Richardson, I wanted Tua. I wanted to pair him with Waddle. Because I'm like, I've never been his biggest fan. They did pay him in Miami, and I do like that offense. They score a lot of points, and they do it through the passing game. So, anyway, Tua at quarterback. At running back, I've got Isaiah Pacheco and Ken Walker. At receiver, I've got Devontae Adams, Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice, and Calvin Ridley. At tight end was another one where I had to step down over and over. And I'm not unhappy because I got Jake Ferguson for $3.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to have to pay like 10 to get him.
Really?
So, yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be great.
Oh, okay. Like I have him as my number, 10 tight end.
I like him better than Goddard, better than Kincaid, Schultz, Bowers, Kittle. Because if you're talking about consistency, he's going to catch 5 or 6 balls a game. Like, he's going to end the season with 75 to 80 catches. That's just what's going to happen. And they like to use the tight end in the red zone. Mike McCarthy always does. He just does. Okay. And so I think he's going to have a really good year. I do. And there just aren't that many people taking up targets in Dallas.
So where do you think he finishes? Is that at the end of the year? Everybody's healthy.
Top
He's
6.
tight end. What?
I'd say 5 or 6.
Okay.
Like you have Kelsey, McBride, Andrews, and then there'll be one other guy that has a great year that finishes in front of him, and then I think he's right there. 5 or 6.
Kincaid.
Yeah, I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't see it yet.
Yeah.
And then running backs on my bench, I've got Ramondre, Jonathan Brooks, Rico Dowdle, and Jalen Wright. And then I also have Adonai Mitchell, my boy, AD.
Well, after all that, I have 2 words for your team. Super solid. I mean, you are strong or fairly strong everywhere. You've got a really nice bench. The one thing I would say is you're missing that superstar. If you don't have somebody that really ends up popping off more than you think they would have, I can see you being one of those teams that makes the playoffs, but 5th or 6th seed, and maybe you get lucky. But if one of those guys pops off, you're going to be amazing. I think it's going to be super hard for you to miss the playoffs. I really like your team overall. I'd give it a B+.
Well, thank you. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be amazing.
You might be right.
The thing I noticed while watching the Chiefs preseason games, and say what you want about what you can and can't take away, is that Mahomes was really quick to just check down to Pacheco. Like, option A, either goes for it or doesn't, and then very next move, where's Pacheco? Was what it felt like.
Okay.
And
a little different this year. The offense looks to be a little bit better, a little bit more of a passing game. So maybe that changes a little bit. But no, overall, I agree with you. Pacheco is going to be super solid
I think
this
they're
year.
Score a lot
really like
this
him.
year. Like, I think they're going to have like an up year from where they've been. It's been a couple down years in a row since Tyreek left, but they've been putting pieces back together.
Yeah.
And,
Rice worked out.
I like where they're at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they're going to score a lot. So that's why I think his when he got Mahomes for 20, I thought that was great.
So
that was a good deal, yeah.
We have a Cameron B in chat. And
we don't know any Camerons.
Well, that's why I'm not sure if he's in our league, because he's asking if he can throw his team down for a rating, which obviously we can do.
He doesn't want that.
But so I don't think it's the same Cameron, because we're obviously going one at a time. Our league
he's throwing
anyway.
His team down. It's probably not.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what Cameron's last name is. So I'm like,
all right.
Let him.
Well,
sure.
Well,
I believe Cam has a different name that we've seen before. So
okay.
Does he want a rating or a grade?
He says
so like out of 10 rating.
Yeah, we'll just do what we've been doing.
There you go.
We'll give him
so
a grade.
He's got a 12-team full PPPR, 9th pick in the draft. Okay, so yeah.
Okay.
It's not him. He has Chase, Gibbs, Jacobs, Mahomes, Kincaid, Deontay, Odonze, Worthy, Pollard, Hopkins, Chuba, Jameson Williams. And I think that's it.
All right,
He's got a lot of rookies.
I got to look here. Yeah, I heard a lot of rookie names. All right, Love, Chase.
For where you got him,
Jacobs, yeah.
I probably wouldn't have taken Odunze or Worthy. Because in those spots, you could have gotten Jonathan Brooks, who's going to help you in the second half. And you could have gotten probably Jaden Reed from the Packers. Either Jaden Reed or Christian Watson. I would have rather had either one of those guys over Odunze or Worthy.
Yeah, but look at the rest of the draft. You're looking down, okay, round 1, round 2, round 3.
That's what I'm saying.
Like solid.
Yeah, no, they're good. The first six picks were great.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Those two rookies feel a little overdrafted in that spot, but overall, really like the team. I would give it what, B plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man. Good luck this year.
And if you haven't, don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Most of our podcast goes out Sunday mornings before the games get started.
Solid B plus. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, he's got position advantage at receiver, running back, quarterback, and according to you, tight end.
No, I agree. And he got Gibbs super cheap. No, I like it. But the more I think about it, the more I like it. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Those two rookies do kind of like, ooh, they better work.
He had 3, right? Was I not? Did I hear that wrong?
I thought it was 2.
He has, let me see, Chase, Gibbs, Jacobs, Mahomes, Kincaid,
Dunze, Worthy,
Pollard, Hopkins, Chuba, Jameson, Williams.
Okay. Oh, Jameson. I was thinking rookie / unproven.
Right.
You know.
But he got Jameson late, so that's
Right,
worth a flyer.
Right. Yeah, it's just the first two, like Odunze and Worthy, where you got him. He probably got him in rounds like 7, 8, or 8,
6,
9.
7.
I wouldn't think 6, 7. I think that's where he got Kincaid. That'd be my guess.
No, Kincaid was 5.
Oh, it's listed as his 5th one, but he probably
Makes sense.
he probably took Mahomes before he took Kincaid.
Honestly, the order he gave us like makes sense as far as a draft order. I'm like,
But,
that's how I draft it. But anyway, good job, bro.
Yeah.
So next up, we got Faith in Me, whose team is Joe Buck Yourself, and he picked up Jay Burrow as his quarterback. B. Robinson for running back
Slim
1.
Shady.
B. Hall for running back 2. Wide receiver Puka Nakua. Tyler Lockett. X. Leggett. I'm sorry. Leggett. George Kittle for his tight end. A. Eckler for running back, which I think is probably in his flex spot.
Yep.
Defenses. Kicker is E. McPherson. Defense is Washington. And then on the bench, he's got Kirk Cousin, B. Allen, R. Purcell, D. Wicks, D. Douglas, and B. Signett.
So if I offer him
No problem, Cameron.
Devontae Adams and Ken Walker for Brees Hall, who says no? Right?
Let's see.
Makes both teams better.
Yeah, I like it.
That's that superstar that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, because he definitely needs some help at wide receiver.
And then my receivers become Nico, Jalen Waddle, Rashee Rice, and Ridley.
Don't do that, man. You don't like that.
yeah, that's bad, man. That's bad. That
sounds horrible.
That's gonna hurt you. That's gonna hurt you. Don't do it. I'm gonna offer that.
I mean,
tonight when
first
we're done.
look at those running backs. Holy crap!
Holy crap!
Like wow, that could be the number 1, number 2 running backs. Well, maybe 2, 3, unless McCaffrey gets hurt. But still
though,
like
I mean,
these guys
they're
are
that
gonna be
good.
awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have Puka. I think Puka's going to have a great year, but I think Kupp is going to have a great year as well. And so Puka's not going to live up to the billing this year, but I could totally be wrong. Tyler Lockett and Leggett, yuck. As starters? No, thank you. George Kittle, very good. Eckler in the flex is either going to be really good or really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For that price, there's no in between. He's either going to be awesome or, God, a waste of $13.
Yep.
And and then with $1 guys, he did fine. You know, I probably wouldn't take in the guy that just got shot.
Right, yeah. Pierce all the guy with the bullet in his chest. I'd avoid that guy.
You know, I like Ben Sinnott in Dynasty.
I like Braylon Allen as a backup for Brees Hall. I think that's an important piece.
So when you take 2 guys that cost as much as Brees Hall and Bijan, you give yourself very narrow parameters with which to work in to fill your team for the rest of the draft. Everything becomes harder.
Right.
And you have to be careful. And spending 33 on Puka, 21 on Kittle, and 13 on Eckler is the opposite of being careful with your cash in an auction draft, in my opinion. We're talking about 34. We're talking about $67 worth of picks. He could have had my 3 top receivers for that.
Right.
You know? So, I
mean, he's going to get wins just from those 2 running backs and the quarterback.
Yep. Agreed.
And that's going
Kittle.
to get him wins.
Like, he's going to score 140 points from Burrow, Bijan, Brees, Puka, and Kittle one week. And then he's going to have a grand total of 147 points when you add in Tyler Lockett, Xavier Legette, Austin Eckler, his kicker and his defense. But he'll still beat you with 147 points, more than likely. But that's going to be tough to repeat every week. So, like, I am going to give this team a C, and it might need to be lower, except for that he does have, 2 of the top 3 picks, if you're drafting in PPR.
And we are. So that's why I'm going, I think C+, but you might be right with the C. I'm right in between the 2, so definitely at the C level team. If he could have stretched those dollars a little further, like what you were talking about, I think this could have been an A team. But
agreed. Like, rather than draft George Kittle for 21, and George Kittle is awesome, like 4 weeks a year. Like, like he's the tight end 1, like 4 weeks a year, every single year. And it's great. It's super fun. And it feels really good to have him on your team.
You're winning those weeks.
Then there's also like 6 weeks a year where he's either injured or just completely out of the game plan. So I would have rather got, like, he could have Ferguson. He could have had Jake Ferguson for $3, right? And that would have been solid. And then with the other 18,
for $1.
he could have had 2 solid receivers behind Puka, and it would have made Puka look a lot better because
would have been a world of difference.
On this receiver core, Puka needs to be Cooper Kupp from 2 years ago.
Anyway, not bad. Big on top. Who's next?
Who's next?
I think, what did we just do?
Faye time.
Okay, so Slim Eagles.
Time.
So Slim Eagles has...
What is that? I don't know.
Faith in me.
Slim Eagles has J. Hurts, S. Barkley,
got to read the whole word.
J. Mixon, D. Moore, D. Smith.
DJ Moore.
Okay. D. Smith, C. Godwin, D. Schultz, J. Connor, the kicker, K. Fairbairn. Defense is Cincinnati, and on the bench he's got Purdy, Jay Reed.
Defense? It was Philly. He drafted Philly.
Yeah, I guess he did. Jay Reed, Jay McMillan, Jay Williams, and P. Freiermuth. Tight end.
Freiermuth.
The move.
Freiermuth.
He took.
Sorry, which team was this?
This is Slim.
Slim
So
Eagles.
Message to our league members who might be listening. If you wanted any of those players, say goodbye to them.
Huh?
He doesn't trade.
Oh.
This is year 5. He has made 0 trades in 4 years.
Shame.
He doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it. So no one is going to have Purdy. No one's going to have, James Conner.
Unless he gets rid of them.
And it's rare.
Oh, yeah?
He will sit on guys that are having terrible seasons for a long time. Like
FOMO, huh?
Like, he has drafted Tyler Boyd twice and sat on him and sat on him.
One of
and
these
then
days.
when Jamar Chase gets hurt or T. Higgins gets hurt and you go to look at the waiver wire to get Tyler Boyd, he ain't there.
He's fine, bitches.
So, yeah, that's slim. That being said, I was not a huge fan of his draft from his perspective last night. From my perspective, I appreciated it very much. But he did a lot of things I wouldn't have done. Starting with
Paying for 2 quarterbacks?
well, yes. He paid $36 in quarterbacks between Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy. If you're going to spend up for one of those top quarterbacks, don't draft 2.
Yep.
Like, there will be a replacement level quarterback waiting for you when his bye week comes along.
Agreed.
Don't spend your money there. Don't do that. He spent $30 on Joe Mixon.
Right. Sure.
So there's no way I would have done that. I put Joe Mixon on the board because I wanted somebody to spend like $25-ish on him. And I only put him out there for 20 because I was afraid I might get stuck with him. So when he went for 30, I was like, yes.
Yeah, he was one of my guys that I was going to throw up as oh, please bid on this guy. I hope this guy gets some money. Mm-hmm. And when he went for 30, I was like, sweet.
Yes, exactly. Me too. So I don't like the pick. And he just didn't I was surprised that he let you have AJ Brown for 45. He must really think that Devonta Smith is going to have a very close, to that level of a season. And he's an Eagles fan for, that's why.
Oh, duh. Yeah, okay.
He's yeah.
Then okay, now I'm surprised too. I'm like, yeah.
Because he ended up with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and Devonta Smith. So that's another
Smith
thing
on the cheap?
Another thing I don't love. Devonta Smith, no, 20. It's whatever.
Price.
It's what I paid 21 or no, I paid 25 for Waddle. My bad. Yeah, so it's good. That was good value. Yeah. But I wouldn't pay 25 for DJ Moore. With what's going on with Chicago, they brought in Keenan Allen and they drafted Odunze.
Yeah, you just don't.
You've got a rookie quarterback.
Sounds like a disaster to me. I agree.
Yeah, I'm out. I was out.
Yeah, I am too. Now, I think there's going to be value in that offense, but I think it's going to be spread around, and we don't know where it's going to be concentrated yet.
Ray got Keenan for 13. It's hard to see that not being worth it.
I agree.
But
unless he's just lost a step, but he didn't look like it last year, so I think
he's never been a 15 yards per catch guy. It's always been 12, 11.
What's up, SJMP? Is this your first time in the stream? We got a question, guys. Okay. He's got a lineup of Purdy, Breeze, Etienne, Rashad White, Devontae Adams, Ayuk, Kittle, Jake Moody, and the Ravens D. And he wants to know if he should start Terry McLaurin or Keon Coleman over either of my wide receivers, Jaden or Daniels Purdy.
Wait, who are the receivers again?
Or maybe his question was Daniels greater than Purdy. The lineup was Purdy, Brees, Etienne, Rashad White, Devontae Adams, Ayuk, Kittle, Jake Moody, and Ravens D. He wants to know if he should start Terry McLaurin or Keon Coleman over either of his wide receivers.
No, I thought he was asking which one to start between the two, and it was McLaurin for sure. Yeah. But over those other two, no. No, not yet. Maybe later in the season, maybe during matchups, but nope, not right now. Thanks for the question, though, man. Always appreciate it, and we're always here to answer. So Tune in.
Yeah, McLaurin could go crazy. I could see him maybe being somebody that you have to start, as the season goes on. But right now, week 1, no. Yeah. There's no way you start him over Ayuk and Adams unless you're like just trying to be the guy who was there first.
I'm the hero. All right. No more questions?
Would you start Jaden Daniels over Purdy?
No. Not yet, but maybe in the future. I mean, keep a real close eye on that situation. But not yet.
Yeah, so like we were talking earlier, Jaden Daniels was on my list of guys I wanted. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wanted him, but I didn't want to start him.
Yeah,
I wanted him on my bench.
Agreed.
And I wanted to make sure I got a guy like Purdy who could score me 20-plus points. And you expect him to score you, and let's say it's 4 point per passing touchdown. You expect him to score you 15-plus points, 6 point per passing touchdown. You expect him to score you 20-plus points. Then you just hope Jaden Daniels works out. And then you can start him and get rid of the other guy.
Right on.
Next up, we have.
Well, wait, just on Slim Eagles, did we give a grade?
We did not. I would say C+.
I concur. C+.
Okay, Vike is up next. And he has C. Stroud, K. Williams, D. Henry, G. Pickens, which I was fighting with him for a little bit over, but he got him. C. Kirk, J. Addison, T. Kelsey, T. What is it? How do you say that one? Achan. C. Dicker, the Miami defense. On his bench, he's got C. Williams.
Quarterback, Caleb Williams.
E. Elliott, T. Chandler, B. Cooks, D. Mooney, and I. Likely.
Oh, I was supposed to get Zeke. I got distracted when that happened. So you settled for
Dowdle?
No, I wanted both.
Oh, I see.
But I didn't want Jalen Wright is the guy on my roster that it was like
shouldn't be.
Yeah. That should be Zeke.
Dope.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have at least one story of one guy that we screwed up or weren't paying attention.
That's really the only one for me.
Yeah.
And so if that's it, it's like, all right.
Yeah. I had two, just one major one with Ridley. I was just like, oh my God.
I'm happy that happened to you.
Oh, dude. I wanted him too, man. I was like, okay, that's my one guy left to spend up on. I'm going to.
Oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good.
Yeah.
Are we done with okay?
Bad moments.
We didn't grade. Sorry.
We get distracted here, man. Come on.
Steve always auto drafts. And the way the auto drafter works is when a player's on the board, as long as the auto drafter has the money and the need for a position, hasn't overfilled it to a certain point, they will bid to the max of the projection for that player. So he ended up with Derrick Henry because he paid the max at 38. He ended up with Kyron Williams because he paid the max at 40. And he ended up with Achan because he paid the max at 40. I think the same might be true on Pickens, actually. I think that was the projection on Pickens. So if you had bid one more, you would have got him. He would have stopped.
I don't think at that point I could keep bidding.
But
you did good.
Yeah. That's funny. The wide receiver core of Pickens, Kirk, and Addison is...
Ooh. I mean, but look at Williams, Henry, and Devon. I mean,
for that money?
Wait, so who did win our league last year?
You wouldn't be happy with those?
It was Cameron.
Cameron.
I stay muted.
Insta-muted. So, okay. So what do we give the computer draft here? C minus?
C minus.
Yeah.
I'm cool with C minus.
Yeah. I mean, there's strong points on the team, but this looks like a team missing the playoffs.
Good.
Yes, it does. It looks like a team that will steal a couple of weeks.
For sure.
Next up is Oh Marvelous Tebow. And he's new to the league, actually. This is his first time to the league. And he ended up with Lamar Jackson, D. Swift, C. Brown, B. Ayuk, M. Neighbors, Michael Pittman, Laporta, Z. Flowers, J. Bates, Minnesota's defense. You're going the right way. A. Richardson, A. Gibson, A. Cooper, G. Davis, T. McBride, Kansas City defense.
Okay. There's a lot going on here. First, 2 top-notch quarterbacks, not really recommended. But they're probably both going to be really good. But what are you going to do? Trade one, start them both? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem worth the money there. We talked about that one earlier. Running back is where he is in big trouble. He obviously went 0 RB, and yeah, his RBs are zeros. It's not good. He's in big trouble. But his wide receivers are awesome. Ayuk, Neighbors, Pittman, Flowers, and he's got Amari Cooper on the bench. You outbid me for a bench player, you sucker. Wow, Trey McBride on his bench with some. Okay, this must be an auto draft team, or what the heck?
There was other players going
in and out of
the
Trey
auto
McBride
draft.
and Sam Laporta on the same team? Wow. Okay. I mean, he definitely went 0 RB. Yeah, he's really good on the receivers, really good in the flex, fantastic at tight end and quarterback. But yeah, those running backs are going to be a big, big problem. I think it's too big a hole. If maybe those wide receivers were a little bit better, if they were just like the top-notch wide receivers, because he got all really solid, really good wide receivers, but none of the high-priced, top-notch guys. So maybe if he had one or two of those guys to kind of balance things out, but without that running back core is just going to be too much to overcome. I think we're going to have to give another C- here, and this is a team that is going to have to do some good trades. If they can trade for some running backs and they have the fodder, then he'll be fine. But you better do some trading. Wow.
So I have a
Who are we talking about?
GMB Jeff in the chat asking us to grade his team. I don't know if he's still there. GM, if you're in the chat still, give us a holler. We'll go ahead and rate your team. If you're not in the chat, we'll go ahead and move on. But we are still on Marvelous Omar, I think.
So I just took
he
it apart
spent-
a little bit. Yeah, I just took it apart. Take it away.
He spent $34 on quarterback
Yes.
and $49 on tight end.
Yeah.
So he for that month. So if you cut that in half, which he should have, he could have had another top flight wide receiver, or
An actual running back.
an actual running back. That's funny. I like Nick Chubb. I wanted Nick Chubb. He was on my
Really?
list. Yes. So my plan, I wanted Pacheco. I wanted another starting running back. I didn't expect to get Walker and Ramondre. You have a question?
We have a question.
So Rob Kane, I have Mahomes and Kelsey. I also have McLaurin. Would you trade McLaurin for Rashee Rice for the triple stack?
No.
No, right now I'd stick with McLaurin. I think McLaurin can have a really big year, and you don't want to put all those eggs in one basket.
Exactly. If I didn't have Kelsey,
then it would be
yes.
more interesting. Yes.
I would say yes. For me,
So,
it
good
wouldn't even be a
question.
question at that point. If you didn't have Kelsey and you were just asking me, you were like, hey, man, I have Mahomes. Should I trade McLaurin for Rice? Yes. Yes, you should.
Yeah, and I love McLaurin, but yes.
And the answer might still be that you should, and then you trade Kelsey to somebody else, and get the value for Kelsey.
Yeah, it depends on your league and your trading skills, but
exactly. But based on the little bit that we know, I would say no.
Right on.
Okay, and we just finished with I love tight ends. So, did you guys give him a rating?
I gave him a C-.
I actually like his depth.
At receiver.
Huh?
At receiver, it's great. At quarterback and tight end, it's great.
Okay, so Swift and so he's got Swift as a running back right now is what I see. Mm-hmm. Eventually, he will get Nick Chubb, and after week 1, there will be a running back to pick up on the waiver wire. So if he's aggressive, then I like his team. I think his team's fine. I probably wouldn't have spent that much money. I would not have spent up on McBride after getting Laporta. I would have rather had McBride than Laporta. And then I wouldn't have spent on Neighbors, probably. Based on the fact that he also has Zay Flowers and Amari Cooper. Mm-hmm. And I'd rather have both of those guys than Neighbors this year. And that's iffy because Neighbors could easily be his best receiver. He could. He has that ability, and they love him in New York. I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks. It was pretty good. It was good. It
was fun.
I thought that was interesting that Neighbors was their guy.
Yeah.
Not Marvin Harrison.
Yep.
Not Odunze. Neighbors was their guy the whole time.
Means something. I was the one bidding for him, so he outbid me on that guy.
So if Chase Brown is going to split work with
Ford?
With Zach Moss.
Sorry. Oh, Moss.
Which isn't out of the question. Then he could have a serviceable team until he fills that gap through free agency. And then his team's fine. So I think a C is fair.
Okay. I'm going to stick with my C-, but I will say that you could easily turn this into a solid B or better with some really good trades and aggressive.
Not even difficult trades either, in my opinion. Especially right now, before anything happens, because there's value in either trading Lamar or trading Anthony Richardson. And there's value in either trading Laporta or McBride.
Yep.
And that value could, it's very unlikely to go up anymore and could easily go down once games start happening. So I would make that move as fast as possible. Just find somebody who's not, happy with their roster.
Or wait till injuries and take advantage. But he's in a position that I think he has to act right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least on one trade.
Yeah, he needs a running back. He just needs a running back.
Make one now and one when somebody's desperate. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agreed. Probably make the thing I would do is trade one of those tight ends.
For sure.
And then the quarterback when someone gets desperate because their guy goes down.
I like it.
So yeah, C for me. C.
With potential.
Yeah.
And who was that we just finished doing? You guys lost me.
Did we grade mine? What did I get?
Omar
Did I get a B plus? Like you?
Yes.
All right, cool.
All right, Murder Villains is up next. His starters: Josh Allen, B. Irving, Jay Cook, A. St. Brown, T. Dell, R. Donze, B. Bowers, D. Godart, Jay Tucker with a New Orleans defense. His bench: Aaron Rodgers, who I was real curious about in multiple leagues and almost picked him up a couple times. Jay McLaughlin, K. Herbert, Jay Polk, Jay Myers, and Jay Palmer.
All the J's.
So, he is one of two teams that did not spend all their money. And, in fact, left a lot on the table. He left $37, which players that went for 37 or less dollars. Let's see. We've got he could have had Ken Walker. He could have had Joe Mixon. He could have had Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Puka Nacua, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, DJ Moore. Like the list is endless with the guys that he could have had for the money he didn't spend. So that hurts. It's like that right there. You're asking me. You're like saying, I didn't spend a quarter. Like, so I didn't do 25% of the work. Like, all right, you're already at a C. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, there's parts of the team I like. Obviously, I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. Amon St. Brown, he spent up to get him, and I think that was the right move.
Agreed. And even James Cook is a good pickup.
Yeah, and Cook is fine. Cook's a good value considering the guys that went in his price range. You know, he went for exactly the same as Mixon, Aaron Jones, Rashad White, and I would take James Cook over all three of those other guys. So that's good. But, you know, then you look at his receivers, and he's got Josh Palmer and then Rome Odunze as 3 and 4, and it's like, well, if you had spent that $37 plus the $11 that you somehow spent on those $1 players, in my opinion, you could have had Garrett Wilson. And so if his team has Garrett Wilson instead of Josh Palmer and Rome Odunze,
looks a lot different.
Oh yeah, we're talking about an A minus. A minus, B plus.
No, we still got Bucky Irving starting.
At running back?
Yeah.
He also has Herbert from Chicago. So, yeah, he's light, but you're talking about, you know, Josh Allen, Amon St. Brown, Tank Dell, and Garrett Wilson in that scenario.
And Odunze and Bowers have great potential. Goddard's probably going to be solid. You know, Tucker's solid. So I like a lot of that stuff, but man, there's some serious holes.
It's a fringe team.
Some work.
This is a C plus ish, and it just sucks because you know he didn't spend 25% of his budget.
Yeah.
So that's just
I'm gonna have to go C minus again just because of that. Like I say,
tough grader,
tough
grader here. He doesn't grade on a curve,
dude. Bucky Irving starting is just inexcusable.
He doesn't have to grade on a curve.
No, I agree, but it's not. It's okay. What I'm looking at, he read the starting lineup, and so he made changes to his roster. He drafted Herbert as his second running back, and Herbert is a guy who splits time in his backfield. Right. If not, could actually be the number one running back. We don't know.
But this is a guy you want on your bench or maybe in your flex.
Name for me, please, the other Chicago running back on a roster.
You're right. And they got to run the ball.
You got to run the ball. Someone's got to do it. And that is the only rosterable Chicago running back. So he has 2 running backs. He does. Okay. But he still has a huge hole where he didn't spend $37.
D minus.
That's what I'm saying. It's showing.
So yeah, C for me because I think he did really well with Allen, Cooks, and Amon-Ra. But and then he's just missing a grade and a half from not having that
totally agree.
Other player.
So next up we have Team Hernandez.
This is Nico.
All right, so he's got Herbert, D. Montgomery, R. Mostert, J. Jefferson, C. Lamb, T. Higgins, E. Ingram, C. Hubbard. His kicker is currently empty. Okay. I've never seen that before. But defense is San Francisco. His quarterback is, for the bench, he's got Jared Goff, D. Singletary, Z. Moss, L. McConkey, D. Johnson and C. Watson and Njoku.
So his team worries me a little bit because when the draft started and he very uncharacteristically spent up on Justin Jefferson and spent over projection by almost 10%, more than 10%, and then he bought CD Lamb as well. I was like, oh, he's got a different strategy this year because he doesn't do that. Like, this is the guy that typically will wait like 30-ish players before he starts taking guys off the board. And then at the end of the draft, it's like, wow, how did he get all these guys? And it's like, oh, yeah, well, he got that guy for under projection, that guy for under projection because he just, like, takes people after everyone's out of cash. And they've slowed down and they're trying to, conserve for the end. And so this was a really different strategy for him this year. But it still kind of got there.
It really did. And let me just throw in here, like, this guy was the bane of my fucking draft. Like, this guy, every time I wanted somebody, he outbid me. Every time I thought I was going to get somebody on the cheap, he got him for $1 or $2 more. Every damn time. Like, I'm looking at his team, and there's like 6 guys that I was targeting actively that night, and I couldn't get him because of this guy. So I'm a little pissed off, but I really like his team.
Yeah.
The team looks good with those two. I mean, Jefferson and Lamb is just an amazing start.
Yeah, I'm worried about
everything
Jefferson
else is just
more than
solid.
other people. I am worried about Jefferson more than other people.
That's fair. I see the reasons.
He's counting on a run it back season from Mostert, and Mostert's like 31 or 32.
I think maybe 20% less of last year, and you're still happy with Mostert.
Hey, take what you want from this. He got Mostert for 18. HN went for 40.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just saying. So, because I don't believe, I don't think you do either. I don't believe at all in Singletary. We think that Jameer,
based on the fact that I dropped him in Dynasty.
That's funny. Oh, I forgot about that.
It was a drunken mistake. But
that's really
I'm
funny.
Stand by it.
That's really funny.
Screw you, Singletary.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have Tracy in Dynasty. Tyrone Tracy.
Oh yeah.
So, Singletary was his RB2 when he was his roster was filling out, and then he got Mostert later. So I think I don't think he believes in Mostert as much as the price tag suggests. He just at that point it was like, well, what else am I going to do with my money? Because he kind of spent up on some guys where it was like, why did he do that? Because he could.
Yeah. It was that point in the draft. It's like, you gotta spend on somebody.
My favorite part of his team is T. Higgins and Christian Watson for the combined $20. I think that's great. I think that was fantastic. I tried to get Watson. I tried to get him for like $1, and I was willing to spend a couple of dollars, but then they bid him up to $5 is what he went for. And I was like, yeah, I have to. Not that that's too expensive. It's just that I was saving my money for something else, so I couldn't do it. But I'm totally into it. I would rather spend $5 on Watson than $5 on Jaden Reed. That's where I'm at. I know other people believe differently, but I think Watson is the guy in Green Bay. And then with Higgins, it's sneaky really good because Jamar Chase has missed training camp. So, the guy who's got all the reps with Burrow is T. Higgins. And starting the season, at least, he's probably going to have more rapport, like a better connection with Higgins than Chase.
And just speaking of that, is Chase practicing yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so either. Like, that's getting scary.
Yeah.
Like, ew. All
Sorry,
right, so
basic alchemist.
I like the team. I'd give it a B plus. I think it's
Yeah.
good. I think it has potential to get up in that A range if some of
I would
those
say A
running
minus.
backs.
I would give him
work out.
A minus.
I was deciding between the two, so I can't disagree.
Like
there.
when he ended up with Zach Moss and Raheem Mostert,
Yes.
I was like, yeah, this team's solid. He's going to be solid every single week, you know.
And he's got solid receivers down on the bench.
Like where everybody's
Ingram at
down
tight
on
end.
Justin Herbert,
and Joku still.
and Herbert could, he's Justin Herbert. He could still be a top 5 guy, and his other guy is Jared Goff. And we know Jared Goff is a top 5 guy every time he starts against a certain level of defense at home. It's just, you can count it.
I've got a fun bet. Who does he drop to get a kicker?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. It's got to be McConkey, right? Or Njoku?
It's
It's got to be McConkey.
maybe Goff?
I don't think so.
No. He's got.
I would drop
No, he wants to
Hubbard
keep Goff.
or McConkey. Either Hubbard or McConkey.
Hubbard. No, I think he's going to be valuable for a while.
But he
Probably
won't start
McConkey.
him. That's the
Yeah.
thing, is he's not going to want to start him. Is you make that decision, you're like, he might be valuable for a while. Do I want to start him over Montgomery? Do I want to start him over Zach Moss?
Yeah, it's either
Mostert?
McConkey or Njoku, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But anyway, good draft, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks for screwing me.
yeah. Good job. All right, who's next?
So that was Team Hernandez we just finished?
Yep,
Okay, next up is Drunken Pirate.
we're almost done.
Uh-oh. Cameron.
The champ is
Champion.
the other guy who didn't spend all his cash.
Again, he did that last year, too. And look, it's his trophy. What the hell?
That's not what
we
that
know
says.
nothing.
I don't see his name on there.
Yeah, because you're lazy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And he has J. Daniels, J. Jacobs, T. Pollard, C. Cup, M. Harrison,
I think he's more of a B cup.
T. McLaurin, K. Pitts, X. Worthy, D. Carlson, and the New York Jets. On his bench, he's got J. Williams, B. Robinson, T. Spears, B. Thomas, K. Coleman, and R. Flournoy.
I wanted
that?
Javonte Williams. He got Javonte, and I kind of wanted him. That was
Okay.
one of my
Sorry.
regrets.
One second. Cameron, if you're on there, bro. Ryan Flournoy. Explain, please.
Dallas wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
Looks good.
He is rostered on 0% with 0% start.
He probably watched the Cowboys Raiders game, and
Okay.
Flournoy
Makes sense.
made a really nice touchdown grab in that game.
Okay. So he's just calling his shot. This guy's going to get the spot. All right.
And I believe that Brandon Cooks is going to miss a couple weeks to start the year.
Okay. So maybe he is that 0.1% that knows what he's doing.
And I think he's already beaten out Jalen Tolbert, who was the rookie draft pick from the year before. I think either last year or the year before.
I thought Tolbert was having a good camp.
It's okay, bro. It's okay.
No, they like Tolbert, but Flournoy's been really good.
Huh. All right.
He wasn't.
Well, you got the Dallas fans sticking up for you, Cam. I guess you did good.
He wasn't on my radar anywhere in draft season, and he's been real impressive every time I've seen him.
Okay.
So they're, that Dallas draft team does it again.
All right. All right. So let's take a look here. Have we gone through his players yet?
We didn't critique
we did. Yeah,
what he spent.
yeah.
So he got some steals because he was the guy who was sitting on his money the entire draft, going like, "Oh my God, all the players are gone. What do I do?" And or he said he had issues. He said was having connectivity issues.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened to him. Like, where if there were guys he might have gotten if he hadn't had trouble. I don't know, but
He blamed the app. It's not the app.
but
Let me just say that. Like,
I wouldn't have spent 11 on Worthy,
No.
or the 5 on Coleman, or the 10 on Brian Thomas.
But you see the theme, right? Cameron loves his rookies.
Yeah.
Like loves them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a lot of money on rookies. That's what did I? That's 26. That's $26 on rookies when and it's funny because it should have bit him in the ass, but it didn't because he got Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears for a combined $7.
Definitely helped.
That's insane. Yeah, that was those two like could be the steals of the draft, both of them. Like they could be like number 1 and number 2 steals of the draft because think about it, if they're just like what's a good running back pair like we've had in the past, like Jonathan Stewart and who was the other guy that was with him in Carolina? Remember, it was a two-headed. So we've had two-headed running back attacks in the past where both of those guys were starting assets. The Atlanta guys were the most recent ones. Freeman and Tevin Coleman. Remember, in 2016, you started both of them. And I think in 2017, like the next year, they were both like top 30-ish picks in fantasy football, which was wrong. But anyway, I personally have been out on both Pollard and Spears in this draft season. But them going that cheap, it's more likely that one of them is a huge steal than not.
Right. And you can always drop the other.
Right.
No, and that's definitely what he was thinking. And he's got some decent depth with Javonte Williams and Brian Robinson. Nobody's a superstar there, but solid,
His wide receivers are iffy, but
yes.
He ended up with
Cooper Kupp might be great, might be, a step towards being over the hill. Marvin Harrison is going to be great, but is he going to be great this year?
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin is a fantastic wide receiver, but is Jaden Daniels going to be good enough to throw it to him? I don't know. Kyle Pitts, all the freaking potential in the world.
I love that.
He's got a quarterback. He should be good.
Pitts was another. I didn't go through my tight end step downs the way I did my quarterback ones, but Pitts was on my tier downs of tight ends. Obviously, I wanted McBride first, but Pitts was Plan B. Like
mine too. Yeah, he was one of my Plan Bs.
Yeah. So I like that pick. That's one of my favorites. I just
Worthy in the flex seems a little rough.
It's just like if instead of Xavier Worthy, you take him off and you spend the $31 that he didn't spend, and you get who went for 40. That's crazy. Nobody went for like exactly 40 in receivers. It was all like 45 to 55 and then 25 to 30. But he could have had,
Makes sense.
Not Puka because he had Cooper Kupp, but he could have not spent on Coleman and Worthy and spent the money that he didn't spend, and he could have had Garrett Wilson.
Ooh.
And if you have Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin as your wide receiver core, and that depth at running back, with the possibility of the explosion out of either Pollard or Spears or Javonte Williams and Brian Robinson, that's a B+. But as is, I'd say B-.
I'm more in the C+ range. I was actually leaning towards C, maybe. Is C to me? It's got some holes, but it's got real potential too. So, like right now, I give this team a C+, but it could totally get to be a B or even an A or a F, depending on how these players work out. He's got 4 rookies? 4 or 5 rookies?
So, what would your grade be if you removed Worthy, Coleman, and Brian Thomas and added Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, then you're A-.
Yeah.
Yep. Spend your money, Cameron.
Spend your money. Spend it. You can't take it with you. It doesn't. It does not
champ.
go to your
He
fab
did this
wallet.
last year. Maybe he'll do it again. Son of a.
So yeah, as is. Brian's going with C, and I'm gonna go. You said C. C
Yeah,
plus.
I'm gonna go C. I was C plus, but I'm gonna go C.
And for me, it's a B minus. I like Pitts a lot.
Yeah.
So next up, we got Basic Alchemist, who was a viewer when he started, and we invited him into the league last year. Was his first year, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a viewer, a longtime viewer, and the spot opens up, we'll give you a shot if you want to play with us. So anyway, we got Dak Prescott, N. Harris, Z. White, T. Hill, J. Chase, G. Wilson, L. Musgrave, J. Ford, Moody, and the Dallas defense. And on his bench, he has B. Corum, T. Benson, Z. Charbonnet, M. Corley, T. Franklin, and R. Rashid. Shaheed. R. Shaheed.
So he spent all of his money in the first 20 minutes.
And he's got some good starters to show for it.
He does.
Like his starters are awesome. Like I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at all the starters, going, "Wow, good. Fucking perfect zero RB strategy. I love all this. This is great." And then I got to his bench, and I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah. So his starting lineup is like, oh yeah, this is super solid. And then you go to the bench, and it's like, well, if that, well, if,
Yep.
and all the way down the bench is like, well, there's a lot of potential there. And if you're talking about like dynasty, it's like, wow.
Dude, he is starting Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
3 first-round wide receivers.
Yeah.
That's in a PPR.
In a 12-team
That is
PPR,
amazing.
you're not getting any of those guys after pick 14.
Yep. Yeah. Amazing. So there is that. Tight end, obviously, serious hole there. His running backs, he pieced together, but he did it well.
He did it.
With
He got
Harris
there.
and White and Ford.
Getting
I like
Harris for 11 was huge for him.
Yeah.
And then, like, having Harris, Zamir White, and Jerome Ford, and then, like, having Benson on the bench is huge because we know that James Conner is not a year after year stays healthy running back. He just doesn't. So you just kind of expect at some point Trey Benson will get all of the work, whether it's like, consistent and he keeps it is another thing. But there's going to be games at some point during the season where you start Trey Benson everywhere that you got him. And but that's the end of the list of stuff that I like on his roster. And now, to be fair, all the rest of those guys are $1 guys or $2 guys. So he didn't have any money to spend on guys. So it's not like we can go through and tell you, well, he should have spent his money differently here.
It's obvious where he spent the money.
No, this is what you call a glass cannon. That's what his team is. It's a glass cannon. Like, he needs his guys to stay healthy.
But if they do.
If they do.
And I rode that glass cannon for 12 weeks last year, and I dominated this league for 12 weeks.
You sure did.
And then my cannon broke,
yes.
and I died in the playoffs.
his cannon had, like, by the time we got to the playoffs, his cannon had, like, replaced both of the spokes, and
It's so bad.
He had a faulty fuse. It would just blow up in your face sometimes.
So did you guys give him his final grade?
I'm going to give him a B.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to give him a B. And like I say, if that bench was a little bit more, I'd be giving him an A minus. Giving him a B, and then as soon as James Conner gets hurt, it's an A minus. Right. So
honestly,
good draft.
Yes. What if he also has a half PPR league he'd like us to rate? His 10th pick, a 12-man league. His quarterback is Burrow. Running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Isaiah Pacheco, Warren, Rico Dowdle, Wide receivers are Cup, Neighbors, Flowers, Brian Thomas, Addison. Tight end is Fairmouth. Defense is Jets kicker Koo.
Okay, I like it. Very, very solid. I'd give that one a B too. You're not amazing, fantastic anywhere, but very solid. Gonna contend, and could definitely take it if things go right.
He has a goal of making the playoffs this year.
I think you have a real good
That is
chance
a good
of making
goal.
the playoffs. Yeah,
That's
my goal every year.
That's what your goal should be.
Yep.
Once you get to the playoffs, you need some luck.
Absolutely.
But skill will get you there.
It takes skill to get to the playoffs. It takes luck to win.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Wow. What did you guys give it a rating?
B.
B, both. Yeah, okay. So last we got Golden Bear. Let's see.
He was out of money real fast.
So
out of money so fast. It was funny.
So he's got J Love, J Taylor, T Etienne, D London, C Olave, D Samuel, C Smet, M Evans, H Butker, and his defense is Tampa Bay, and on his bench he's got Baker Mayfield, R Davis, Baker Mayfield, K Vidal, H Brown, J Downs, and C Otten.
He's got Cade Otton. I don't think you need to roster Cade Otton.
Yeah, he's a pickup for the week that you need him.
Or Vidal. Maybe Ray Davis. Probably not Hollywood Brown. So
you might be able to. No.
So I don't love that part, but the top half of his team is pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to our last grade here. I don't think this is
and
as good
they
as
went
Wadabiz,
similarly.
but it's very close.
It's not as top heavy. It's spread out a little bit more. Because he doesn't have three $50 wide receivers. None of his broke 30. But he has.
But it makes it less intimidating.
But he has two $40+ running backs. It just really depends, because if you get to like week 3 and Drake London and Chris Olave are what people have been hoping they would be, then that looks really good. Like if Drake London is a true number 1 and Olave is a true number 1, and you know what Mike Evans is going to do, and you know what Debo is going to do, then yeah, that's a terrifying team.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd give it a B-. I think it's.
I agree. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also like we were talking about with the last team, little glass cannon. Because if one guy gets hurt, they're in real trouble.
Yes. And I mean, I have questions about Mike Evans this year. Do you?
No.
Like, I'm taking.
I don't.
Nowhere.
They paid him again.
I know.
And he's just super consistent. And
everyone's talking about Godwin. I don't know, man.
And the thing about it is that he doesn't need to be open to win, to do what he does. He's just kind of like a big guy, and he wins over these smaller cornerbacks. So it's like how Randy Moss aged really well because he was just big. And, he didn't really need to be like a great separator. He just needed to still be standing up when the ball got there.
All right. Interesting take. We'll have to make a bet on him this year.
Oh, I'm sure there will be many bets.
Yes.
So do we want to pick the games?
Oh, we got a question.
Yeah, Jay Taylor, Derrick Henry, K. Williams, Gibbs, or Barkley. Are you asking to pick one? And if so, what is that one?
What is this question?
Taylor, Henry, Williams, Gibbs.
Pick the quarterback. Huh? One. Okay.
Oh, pick one. Okay. Wow, that's hard.
Oh, it was supposed to be pick one. The cue's not.
Are you on the clock right now? Are you drafting? He's like,
we're all talking about. He is drafting on the clock, and we're just like bullshitting.
I mean, those are some good names.
I would say Gibbs.
I think Henry doesn't belong on that list, but
yeah, Henry's in a tier lower.
I agree. For me, it's between Taylor and Barkley, and it's very close, and it's what you feel. I've got a really good feeling on Barkley this year, but then, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Huh? Oh, for the Eagles?
Yeah.
Well, they have Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator now. So I don't have strong worries about how good their offense is going to be. I think it's going to be clunky. Yeah,
I don't know, I think Barkley
the only parts of their offense that I actually want are Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. And that's because they have a rapport going back to high school. And A.J. Brown's just a stud. But I'm not big on spending what it costs to get Barkley. And I was really careful about how I said that because I do have Barkley and Henry on one of my dynasty teams. The one that's priming for a championship run.
Yeah, I hope so.
We made... we were close last year, but
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I got Barkley on a really good deal going into the offseason.
Oh, that's going to feel good this year.
When people were uncertain where he was going to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be good.
He said he had 12th pick and took G. Wilson and Taylor over Jefferson. Don't at me. Is that some sort of slang?
Well, he basically skipped Jefferson at that spot, which is tough. I would not do that.
I wouldn't do it either.
But I love the two people that he picked. I mean, if you just say, hey, I took Wilson and Taylor at the turn, I'd be like, good on you,
great.
Man. Way to go.
You don't even have
but
to
if you tell
say
me
who you left.
Skip Jefferson, I'm like,
you could have had Wilson and Jefferson.
Yeah. Or Jefferson Taylor, man.
So
I would rather have Wilson.
It's close. It's just so much on Rodgers this year. I'm just.
I don't remember if we did this last year or not, or if the league did this last year a lot. But there's a Friday game too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did the league do that last year?
No.
Okay, so this is new. All right, so first up we got Baltimore Ravens versus Kansas City Chiefs +3, over unders 46.5. And if you bet on the money line's +124 if you're betting on the Ravens and -148 if you're betting on the KC Chiefs.
AFC All right, we're going to have to whip through these because I know you're on a time limit.
Yeah,
so we're not going to do our usual analysis. Yeah. So if you're not used to us, we do a lot more in-depth into the game.
It's also week one.
All that stuff.
We don't have anything to draw off of yet.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of projecting that everyone's already been doing for months now. At this point, we really need to see some game action. But that being said, we can still say how we like the teams line up against each other, and I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
That's definitely what I'm hoping. It feels like it's going to be a close game, and I pick the Chiefs, but man, I hope it's a blowout.
I think the Ravens are in more transition than anybody is really talking about, because they've got stability with their head coach and their quarterback, so you don't really think of them as a team in turnover, but they've made a lot of other changes to their team, and they've let a bunch of guys go. They've completely changed their offensive philosophy, their defense. They have who's the stud safety? They've got a really stud safety back there, but they've been losing pieces up front for the last couple of years. Yeah. So. They let Patrick Queen go to Pittsburgh.
Oops.
Yeah. We were talking about the Chiefs earlier. I think the Chiefs are going to score a lot more points this year than they have the last couple of years. I think they've just been putting together, and now when you watch Mahomes, when I watched him drop back in the preseason, and I know it's preseason, so whatever, but he looked a lot more comfortable.
All right. Chiefs are going to roll.
There was a lot of Mahomes drops back, first read isn't there, has to scramble because there isn't really a second read, and just has to hope one shows up, hope Travis Kelce finds a hole somewhere or something like that. Whereas I was telling you, it seemed like he was really quick to look for Pacheco in a dump-off situation. So I think that's more developed now. And I think they're gonna really go hard after this third straight championship.
Okay. I agree.
So
No one's ever
good.
done it, and Mahomes is that kind of guy. So
no one's ever done a three-peat. Nope.
I think it's a good year to have Mahomes as your quarterback.
So next up we have Green Bay Packers versus Philadelphia Eagles on the Friday game. The spread's plus 2.5. 48.5 is the over/under.
It's also in Brazil.
Plus 120 if you're betting on the Packers, and minus 142 if you're betting on the Eagles.
I'm not sure exactly where it landed, but you guys know about the anti-green thing that goes on down there. Excuse me, down there. It's like has some sort of gang affiliation for colors in the same way that red and blue do here. And so the NFL was advised not to wear green during the game. So I'm pretty sure that both teams are wearing non-green uniforms. And we are talking about the Packers and the Eagles.
Green is bad? Let's just send you Green Bay. What the hell?
Yeah, right? And yeah. And so I think the Packers are wearing their like dark blue, yellow throwbacks. And I think the Eagles are wearing their like baby blue, yellow throwbacks.
That's hilarious.
I think. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. But I know that was a thing that was in the news, like underneath all of the contract stuff. Like that was like, item one on everybody's agenda was whose ever contract situation crisis we were following that week. And then right under that, they'd mention, and so they're still dealing with this situation of Brazil over the Friday night game, and how they're going to deal with the uniforms and
That's
such.
funny.
Yeah. So I didn't see exactly where that saga ended because I haven't been watching television, so I only caught it here and there. But
I didn't even know about it.
That would
didn't
be
either.
interesting to check out and find
Nice.
out where it landed.
I take Eagles here, by the way. I mean, I think Eagles are going to be good this year.
Games like this are different because, like I said, it's in Brazil.
Agreed.
So it's an international game. I actually like the Packers.
Okay. You heard it first. He's going with his heart.
First lone wolf of the freaking season.
And may I just say, for the first time this year, fuck the Eagles.
We got 17 more of those.
So the claim, the NFL told Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles they can't wear green in Brazil due to gangs. Breaking, the NFL is telling Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles players that they are not allowed to wear the color green in Brazil for the opener due to gangs. The reads text and post. Teams will likely be forced to stay in the hotel all week and travel in armored vehicles per former Raiders Josh Jacobs. The post was liked more than 800 times in a week. Okay, so this is according to USA Today.
As
we
of
got
what
a
they
poster up there that disagrees with your statement, sir. Takes umbrage to your F the Eagles. He does not like that.
His name is Philly Mike.
Oh yeah.
He said, "You made an enemy. He's made plenty of enemies."
Sorry,
I'll make
Mike,
more
he's
of
a
them.
diehard Dallas guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And hey, if anything, just come back week over week, and we have
laugh
some
at him.
interesting banter to go.
Yeah.
You say, "How about them Eagles?"
Right on. Who we got next?
All right, that's it. That wraps up as far as this, the NFL goes,
Yeah, 'cause
because
we'll
we'll
be
do
back
the
for
rest
the
of the
rest.
picks on
Oh,
Sundays.
that's right.
We'll do our DraftKings lineup on Sunday.
Dust it off.
Yeah. Make sure you listen to mine.
I just don't
Yeah,
got
not mine.
I don't got what a Beezy's picks on Thursday and Friday's games. Beezy, what are you? Chiefs and Eagles. There they are. He got them out as soon as I said that.
He's on top of it.
Yeah. So Chiefs, Packers for me.
All right.
Okie dokie. So, is there anything else you guys want to cover? You have somewhere to be? I didn't know that.
No, I just have my kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to go get them.
Okay.
Get them home.
So we got time.
Spray them off. I think I have to make some ribs or something like that too.
Tonight?
Yeah.
No, this sounds delicious.
Right.
They are delicious.
Yeah, I've been to some of your barbecues and I've never disappointed with the food.
Well, thank you.
And you
Always
know what?
enjoyable.
I wouldn't say anything if I was. I wouldn't compliment you. Like, you
We
know
appreciate
what I mean?
that too.
Yeah, I would be just like,
You know, my 6-year-old is the most polite kid ever I've ever seen when it comes to dealing with food, because most kids, like, when you give them something they don't like, they will tell you right away. "Ugh, I don't like that."
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah,
will
yeah.
tell you right away. You know, and even if they try it, and then if they don't like it, they're usually pretty animated about not liking stuff. You know, and he'll try it, whatever it is, and if he likes it, he'll tell you right away. "Oh, this is the best." This, and he'll be eating it up. And if he doesn't like it, he won't say anything. And if you ask him, "Hey, do you like that?" I like it a little bit. It's the most. It's the sweetest thing. Yeah, because he's so polite. But yeah, he'll say, "I like it a little bit."
that's cool. We do
That's
have
how you
one
know you got to
question.
step up your game.
And well, that's how you know he doesn't like it.
yeah.
That means I don't like it.
So before we get to the questions out there, real quick, we got
questions.
Since we're talking about personal matters, I always tell my kids, you got to try it, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, and try it again, because taste buds develop over time, and what you don't like before, you may like later. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we have 2 questions. What do y'all think of Blake Corum?
Blake Borum.
I think if you've got Kyron Williams, you better have him. That's what I think.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
but
he's a must-have.
Other than that, not rostering him.
Unless you want to trade him to that
unless
guy.
we're talking about dynasty, yeah. unless you snaked him from the guy who has Kyron Williams and is a huge Rams fan, and you can trade him to him.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. I don't think there's a reason to pick him up.
So I'm going to make a note in here that Philly Mike thinks Eagles 31-21. And if he gets that right, he can come back and brag to us.
If he gets that right, I'll take a Bowmore.
You'll take a Bowmore shot?
If he gets that right, I will take a Bowmore.
That's a good bet. Okay, now if you don't know, a Bowmore is the worst shot possible. I got this bottle of whiskey one time, paid good money for it, like good money, and we all tried it, and it was just the worst crap possible.
It is the worst.
So now that's our bet. Like, if you take a Bowmore bet, that's a serious bet.
That's a serious bet.
So good luck, sir. I hope you hit it.
So make sure you like and subscribe so you can cash in on that bet if you can. And then we got, would you trade Nico Collins and James Conner for Jay Waddle and R. Stevenson?
No.
No. that was quick. No, I'm not a big fan of Stevenson at all.
I am.
So,
I actually am.
And
but that I wouldn't take that step down in running back, and also what in my opinion
sidestep,
is a step down from Nico to
or at least a sidestep.
At least it's at least like at best, in my opinion, it's at best a sidestep.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Any others?
That's it. We're all caught up on the chat.
All right, guys. If you have any questions, shoot them out there because we're going to sign off here in a minute.
Yep. And other than that, we will see you next Sunday for football.
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning. What time are we starting?
Good question. We should probably get that out there.
7:30.
I'm good with 7:30.
7:30.
7:30 Pacific Standard Time, Sunday.
Give us like 15 minutes leeway.
Yeah.
We're
That's,
famously 10 to 15 late, but
Plus or minus 15.
before 8, we will be there.
9:30 for you, Bezzy. He's in Texas, right?
Oh wait,
Right.
would you trade Barkley for T. Higgins and Pacheco?
Yes, all day.
Ooh.
Snap call.
Yeah, I mean, and you love Pacheco. I like Pacheco. I think it's close. I would keep Barkley, but man, that's really close.
Yeah, for me, that's a
but
snap
for me,
call.
I don't really like T. Higgins other than the first couple weeks of the year. He's just not one of my favorite guys.
I still think he's great. And
he's
also,
medium.
I mean, personally, I think you're getting a lateral move at worst at running back. And it's also, there's also the potential that, like, so typically when running backs leave their team and get a big bag of money to go somewhere else, it doesn't work out the way that we think it's going to.
I sense a lot of Barkley bets this year because I'm going to be taking Barkley on a lot of these bets.
That's funny. I mean, I hope it does work out because then I'm going to win a dynasty championship.
Win-win.
But I am very worried, and it is something that if I think about my dynasty team, the very first thing that comes to my mind is like, should I deal Barkley away? That's the very first thing that comes to my mind because his value is so high right now.
That's funny.
But if it doesn't work out right now in Philly, we get like 5 weeks in and he's a dud, the value falls to the floor.
He's not going to be a dud. There's no
I'm
way.
not saying it, but I don't think he will be. But it's in the
possible.
range of
All right.
outcomes.
It's out there.
So we got three or four questions. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Who wins my matchup, me or Golden Bear?
All right, let's.
Who's me? Who's me?
That's
Well,
what,
whoever's playing
what a
Golden
busy.
Bear.
Is it Bessie?
Oh yeah.
What a busy.
Oh, they're playing each other? They're the two glass cannons.
Oh, nice.
According
All
to the
right.
Sleeper app, he's got a marginal slim edge. What a busy.
I
Oh wow.
like the Golden Bear side right now. But if Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase, then I think you should win.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with that. If Chase plays, then I'm taking Wadabizzi here, and if he doesn't, then he's gonna lose. Well,
Yeah.
All right.
he's in trouble.
So pick one. 1.06 10-man super Alex on the clock. Mahomes, Alex, Stroud, Lamar, and Hurts.
You're 106 super flex on the clock.
Yeah, we might have screwed him over.
Mahomes.
Hopefully he picked Mahomes, huh? Is that what we're saying?
Allen? Allen's there?
He said Alien X Stroud. Oh, yeah, that is Allen X.
Allen, not close. Allen shouldn't be on the board still.
Yeah.
It's super flex, right?
Yeah. Super flat.
Yeah,
He's on
Allen
the clock now.
Allen should not be on the board still. I'd take Allen.
Followed by Mahomes.
Yeah.
Closely.
I mean,
Allen then Mahomes is what I say. I mean,
well,
for sure.
the top three quarterbacks that should go are going to be Allen, Hurts, and Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I put Mahomes above Jackson, but
I wouldn't do that.
okay. So, did we get to him in time? Did we
I have
help
no.
him out?
He just said those guys went.
Okay.
He's
said
on the
those
clock,
guys
and those 5 went already.
Oh, those 5 went already. Yeah, then Lamar.
He said Lamar and Hurts went.
Oh boy, you got to take a quarterback here. I mean, unless Brees, if Brees Hall is available, I would take Brees over the next quarterback. I would do that, and then I would be fine taking a quarterback in round 2. Because what's going to happen is the top 6 to 8 quarterbacks are going to come off the board. Then people are going to take the top 6 to 8 running backs and wide receivers. So you can get ahead of them. And you can take the top, second or third running back / wide receiver.
Kyler Murray.
And yes, and then shoot for Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson.
He's
Tua.
pick 6. It's round 1, and all quarterbacks went.
Yeah, so I would. CMC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. CMC.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Brees Hall. But
Was there another one?
He is still out there. Shoot.
Because I am at time.
All right. Last question.
There's no more questions after that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. That was unexpected, so thank you.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys. He grabbed CMC. Good job, dude.
Good job, brother.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys all next Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, plus or minus 15 minutes.
That's game.
All right.
See you guys
later.